Your soulmate needs to talk to you immediately. Something big just happened. My beloved child. Don't skip, because something happened so unexpectedly that your soulmate has been trying to find the courage to reach you ever since. They replayed the same moment over and over, wondering if they should stay silent or finally tell you everything. But every second they waited, the feeling inside them only grew stronger. They realized that if they remained quiet any longer, they might lose the chance to say the words that have been trapped inside their heart for far too long. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. This is not just another ordinary message. It began with one unexpected moment that completely changed the direction of their thoughts. At first, they tried to ignore it. They convinced themselves it meant nothing. They kept pretending they were moving forward, smiling around everyone, acting as though life was perfectly normal. Yet the harder they tried to forget, the louder your memory became. Every familiar place reminded them of you. Every quiet moment carried your name in ways they could never explain. Then something happened that they never saw coming. A simple conversation suddenly forced them to face emotions they had hidden for so long. It was as if every excuse they had been holding on to disappeared in an instant. For the first time, they stopped asking themselves whether they cared, and started asking why they had waited so long to admit it. Everything changed after that. Their heart refused to stay silent anymore. They looked back at every misunderstanding, every missed opportunity, every unfinished conversation, and they finally understood that none of those memories had ever truly disappeared. They had simply been buried beneath fear. Don't skip, because what happened next shocked even them. Someone unexpectedly mentioned your name, and in that single moment, every wall they had built around their emotions began to fall apart. They tried to hide their reaction, but they couldn't. Their heartbeat became faster. Their thoughts became impossible to control. They suddenly realized they were no longer afraid of loving you, they were afraid of losing the chance to tell you. That realization stayed with them all day. They couldn't focus on anything else. Even while surrounded by people, they felt as though they were standing alone with one unanswered question echoing inside their mind. Should they finally reach out before it's too late? They picked up their phone more than once. They typed a message. They erased it. They started again. Every word felt too small for what they truly wanted to say. They knew that one message could change everything, yet they feared one wrong sentence could ruin the opportunity forever. The silence between both of you suddenly became heavier than it had ever been before. But the biggest surprise had not happened yet. As the day moved forward, another unexpected event unfolded, one they could never have predicted. A tiny detail, something most people would have ignored completely, made them stop in their tracks. It reminded them of a promise they had quietly made to themselves long ago, a promise connected to you. At that exact moment, they understood they could no longer keep pretending that destiny had moved on. They felt an overwhelming urge to speak with you immediately, not tomorrow, not next week, but now. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They believe there is something you deserve to know before anyone else does, something capable of changing the way you see everything that has happened between you. Yet there is one final obstacle standing in their way, and it is far greater than fear. It is a truth they have never shared with anyone. A truth so powerful that once it is spoken aloud, nothing between you can ever remain the same again. Right now, they are standing at the edge of that decision. And what happens next may become the most unforgettable turning point of this entire story. A restless feeling followed them everywhere after that moment. No matter how hard they tried to distract themselves, the same thought kept returning. What if this is my last chance? Don't skip, because this is where everything begins to change. They stopped pretending that time would solve everything on its own. Instead, they started looking at every sign around them differently. A familiar song, an unexpected memory, a place that suddenly felt impossible to avoid, each one reminded them that their story with you was never truly finished. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They realized that the distance between two hearts is not always measured by miles. Sometimes it is measured by words that were never spoken. And those unspoken words had become heavier than anything they had ever carried before. For the first time in a long while, they admitted to themselves that the future they imagined somehow always included you, even when they tried convincing themselves otherwise. As evening drew closer, another unexpected moment unfolded. Someone asked them a simple question that sounded ordinary on the surface, but it completely caught them off guard. If you had one chance to fix one unfinished chapter in your life, what would it be? They answered nothing. They simply smiled and looked away. But inside, your name echoed louder than ever. That silence became their answer. They understood that no achievement, no new beginning, and no distraction had been able to replace what they still felt whenever they thought about you. Don't skip, because the next decision they made surprised even themselves. They unlocked their phone again. This time they didn't hesitate as long. They opened your conversation, stared at it for several long moments, and slowly began typing. Every sentence came straight from the heart. Then they stopped. Their finger hovered above the send button, yet they couldn't press it. They whispered to themselves, "What if they don't believe me after everything?" That single doubt froze everything once again. Yet something even bigger happened only minutes later. Just as they were about to give up, an unexpected realization washed over them like a wave they could no longer resist. They finally understood that staying silent carried a greater risk than speaking honestly. The fear of losing you forever had become stronger than the fear of being vulnerable. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They took a deep breath and made a quiet promise to themselves that before another day passes, they will no longer hide behind excuses or unanswered questions. But there is still one truth they have not revealed. A truth connected to the reason they suddenly need to talk to you immediately. It is not just about their feelings. It is about something that happened unexpectedly, something they never imagined would force them to see your place in their life with complete clarity. And when that hidden truth finally comes to light, the direction of this story will change forever. The night became unusually quiet, but inside their heart, nothing was peaceful anymore. Every passing minute felt like a countdown they could no longer ignore. Don't skip, because the next few moments changed everything they believed about themselves. They finally stopped asking whether they should reach out and started asking why they had waited for so long. The answer frightened them. It wasn't because they didn't care. It was because they cared far more than they had ever admitted. Every memory returned with incredible clarity. The laughter they once tried to forget. The conversations they thought no longer mattered. Even the smallest details suddenly felt priceless. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They realized that the strongest connections never truly disappear. They simply wait for the moment when both hearts are ready to understand what they almost lost. That realization left them speechless. For the first time, they accepted that running away from their feelings had only brought them closer to one unavoidable truth. You had never left their heart. Then something happened that completely caught them off guard. While looking through old memories, they found something they hadn't seen in a very long time. It wasn't valuable because of what it was. It was valuable because of what it reminded them of. In that instant, every excuse they had built over the past months collapsed. They smiled without realizing it, and then, almost immediately, their eyes filled with emotion. Don't skip. Because this is where the story takes an unexpected turn. They whispered your name under their breath, not because anyone asked them to, but because it was the only name their heart wanted to remember. Suddenly, they understood why every attempt to move forward had always felt incomplete. A missing piece had been quietly waiting all along. They weren't searching for a new beginning anymore. They were searching for the courage to return to the chapter they should never have closed. That discovery gave them a strength they didn't know they still possessed. But the biggest moment arrived just before they were ready to leave everything until another day. Their phone lit up unexpectedly, and although it wasn't a message from you, it carried words that struck their heart with unbelievable force. It reminded them that opportunities don't wait forever, and neither do the people who matter most. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. At that very second, they made a decision they had been avoiding for far too long. They promised themselves they would no longer allow fear to speak louder than love. Yet there is one final truth they still haven't shared with you, the real reason they suddenly feel this urgency. It isn't only because they miss you. It is because they discovered something about your connection that they never understood before. Once that hidden truth is finally revealed, every unanswered question, every silence, and every doubt will begin to make sense, and what happens next will become the most unforgettable moment of this entire journey. A new morning arrived, but nothing felt ordinary anymore. It was as if the world had quietly moved forward while your soulmate remained standing in the exact moment where everything changed. Don't skip. Because what happened next is the reason they feel they need to talk to you immediately. They woke up with one thought that refused to disappear. No matter where they looked or what they tried to do, your presence stayed with them. They finally admitted something they had never allowed themselves to say before. They were no longer afraid of what you might think. They were afraid of what would happen if they never gave you the chance to hear the truth. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They understood that some moments only come once, and if they allowed this one to pass, they might spend the rest of their life wondering what could have been. Then another unexpected event unfolded. Someone close to them noticed the change and quietly asked, "You've been different lately, what's really on your mind?" For a long moment, they said nothing. But this time, silence didn't protect them. It exposed everything. Their eyes revealed what their words could not. In that instant, they realized they had reached a point where hiding their feelings had become impossible. Don't skip, because this is where the biggest emotional shift begins. Instead of running away from the conversation, they finally accepted that every path they had taken somehow kept leading back to you. Every distraction had faded. Every excuse had lost its power. They no longer wanted another reason to wait. They wanted one reason to act. And that reason was stronger than anything they had ever felt before. Just when they believed they were finally ready, one final surprise appeared. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. But it changed everything inside them. A quiet realization settled into their heart that your story together was not remembered because of the past, it was remembered because it still had an unfinished future. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They took one deep breath and made a promise that they would not let another opportunity disappear without speaking honestly. But there is still one final message they have been protecting, a message they believe can only be shared when the timing is right. The moment that message is finally revealed, every unanswered question will begin to fall into place, and you'll finally understand why they felt they had to reach you immediately after something so unexpected happened. My beloved child. The moment they made that promise, something inside them became incredibly clear. The fear that had controlled them for so long suddenly felt smaller than the hope of finally being honest. Don't skip, because the next few moments reveal why this message could not wait any longer. They sat quietly, replaying every chapter of your journey together, and one truth kept returning with greater strength each time. They had spent too much time believing that silence was protecting both of you, when in reality it had only created more distance. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. For the first time, they imagined what life would feel like if they never told you what had been hidden inside their heart. That thought alone was enough to make them realize they could not keep postponing the conversation any longer. Then another unexpected realization arrived. They understood that the something big that happened was not a coincidence at all. It was the moment they finally stopped fighting against what their own heart had been trying to tell them. Every unanswered question suddenly began fitting together like pieces of a puzzle. Every delay now had a meaning. Every misunderstanding now carried a lesson. Don't skip, because this changes everything. They finally accepted that they were never searching for the perfect words. They were searching for the perfect courage. And now, that courage was beginning to grow stronger than every fear that had kept them silent. They reached for their phone once again, not with uncertainty this time, but with quiet determination. No rehearsed speeches. No complicated explanations. Just one sincere desire, to let you know that your place in their heart had never disappeared, no matter how much time had passed. But just before they could finally take the next step, something completely unexpected interrupted their plan. A new piece of information reached them, something they had never heard before, and it made them stop instantly. Their heartbeat quickened. Their eyes widened. Suddenly, they realized this conversation was even more important than they had imagined. Don't skip, because what they discovered will completely change the direction of this story. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They now know there is one final truth that cannot remain hidden any longer, and once those words are finally spoken, the silence that has stood between both of you for so long will never have the same power again. What they are about to reveal next is the reason this message found you today, and it may become the turning point neither of you will ever forget. My beloved child. Everything became still for a moment, yet inside your soulmate, 1,000 emotions were racing at once. Don't skip, because the truth they uncovered was not what they expected. It didn't frighten them, it awakened them. They finally understood that waiting for the perfect time had been nothing more than an illusion. Every day they remained silent was another day spent moving farther from the life they truly wanted. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They closed their eyes and admitted something they had never been brave enough to face before. If they lost the opportunity to speak now, they would carry that regret far longer than any fear of rejection. That single realization changed the direction of every thought they had been holding on to. As they gathered the courage to move forward, another unexpected moment unfolded. A memory returned with incredible clarity, not because someone reminded them of it, but because their heart refused to let it fade away. It was a small moment between the two of you, something that seemed ordinary at the time, yet it suddenly carried extraordinary meaning. They realized that the happiest memories are rarely the loudest, they are the quiet ones that stay alive when everything else disappears. Don't skip, because this is where their heart made its final decision. They no longer wanted to hide behind pride, hesitation, or uncertainty. They wanted honesty. They wanted clarity. Most of all, they wanted you to know that no matter how many times life tried to pull them in different directions, every road somehow led them back to the same destination. Back to you. The weight they had carried for so long slowly began to disappear, replaced by a hope they had almost forgotten could exist. But just as they prepared to take the final step, one last surprise stood in front of them. It wasn't a person. It wasn't a message. It was a question that echoed deep inside their heart. If this is the moment that changes everything, will you finally tell the whole truth? They didn't answer with words. They answered with a decision. Don't skip, because what happens next is the moment they have been building toward all this time. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They are no longer trying to escape their feelings. They are preparing to reveal the one truth they have protected from everyone else, the truth that explains why they suddenly need to speak with you immediately. And when that truth is finally spoken, every silence, every delay, and every unanswered moment between you will begin to make sense in a way neither of you ever imagined.